are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM Harper Radio, broadcasting from the Harper College campus in Palatine, Illinois. You are listening to Streamingverse with Chris and Nina, and today we have a very special guest that you will definitely want to stay tuned in for. Today we will be discussing Quantum Physics and Multiverse. Oh no.
Sorry. I thought I'd already lowered that.
You're good. All right. So,
Introduce the topic.
okay. Well, I just did.
Oh, you true. Well, we talked about. You did. Sorry. The thoughts and ideas presented on the show are our own and not necessarily reflective of WHCM, Harper Radio, or its Board of Trustees. We have a guest.
Yes, we do.
We're so excited today.
Can we have our guests introduce themselves?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Bhasker Moorthy. I teach astronomy at Harper. And I'll say right away that I did not pick multiverse and quantum physics. So we can talk about that if you want, or we can talk about less challenging topics too.
We're going to go basic, trust me. We know how to bring everything down. So how would you like us to address you today?
Bhasker is fine.
Bhasker?
Okay, in class, I tell my students that it's respectful to refer to your professor as Dr. somebody or Professor somebody. So in class, they call me Dr. Moorthy or Professor Moorthy. But after they've completed my course, then, of course, I like to be on a working basis with my students. So inside the classroom, there's certain formalities, but outside the class, Bhaskers.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And who's the camera on? Me. I'm Chris. Hi.
And I'm Nina. And you are listening.
All right, so what do we want to get started with today? How about what we've been watching over the past week?
Yeah, that sounds great.
What have you been watching?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm really excited about what I've been watching. I'm not up to date on the current episode that came out today, but I watched all 3 episodes that were out at the time of Love and Death, which is on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. So good. Kristen Ritter and Elizabeth Olsen, who are 2 of my favorite actors in general, they have so many scenes together, and I knew they were both in the project, but I didn't know they would necessarily have that many scenes together, and it just made me so happy because that's Jessica Jones and Wanda Maximoff.
Yes,
together.
Bonding.
Yeah, and I didn't know much about the story of Candy Montgomery, and so I did some research about that, and I'm a little traumatized, but that's okay.
It was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Bhasker, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the story. They've made a mini series about a woman who killed her friend with an axe, and this was in the 70s.
And got acquitted.
Yeah.
And she's still she's a crisis mental health professional now, which is utterly terrifying to me.
So it's a true story?
True story.
Yeah, it's a true story.
Okay.
And she was acquitted, and there was 20 to 50 blows with the axe, something like
41.
that. 41.
I read a lot of articles over the weekend.
So it definitely is interesting. I saw the first episode myself, and she's just very frank, matter of fact,
Yeah.
no emotion to her whatsoever. Nope. So Bhasker, what have you been watching?
Now you're tempting me to start paying for HBO again. I'm trying to watch things illegally, but there's so many great shows on HBO, and we pay for Netflix and Prime, and we used to pay for Disney Plus, and we just stopped paying for Apple TV Plus. So I mostly watch Netflix and Prime these days. So I've seen Beef like most other people.
Okay, yeah.
So that was nice.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think it's a good show.
All right.
First couple of episodes were really great, I thought, but I continued watching the rest of the season. Enjoyed it. Yeah. And I watch a lot of stand-up comedy. I'll watch new ones, and I'll go back and watch old ones too. But I spend a lot of time doing that.
Did you see the new one out by John Mulaney that just came out on Netflix?
I did. I've seen every Netflix special by John Mulaney. Okay.
I'm with you on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too.
Yeah.
Chris, what have you been watching?
Well, I of course am up to date on Ted Lasso. Sorry, Bhasker. I'm at Apple TV Plus. And this latest episode brings us further into what the psychic said to I can't remember her name, our main character.
Main character
I know
of the
her
show.
name all the time, but now I can't remember her name. Boss lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had seen a psychic and she told her certain things. And so far we've seen a couple of them occur. Well, in this past week's episode, we see Ted Lasso's son asking for change. And as Ted Lasso goes through his pockets and says he has no change, but here's a couple magnets and here's a matchbook. And it was a quick throwaway scene, but it was the green matchbook, which was been predicted by the psychic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you
So-
saying that.
We've seen it twice now. So it's like,
Interesting.
ooh, which matchbook is the one that matters? I love
amazing.
it. And they also did a really great scene on privacy and what happens when people share inappropriate videos or photos. And the team actually goes through a full discussion about it, which is fascinating, back and forth. So it's like they made it educational, but they didn't shove it down our throats. They
Yeah.
actually had like a real life discussion about like deleting the photos of your exes.
Oh,
And the consensus was delete them all. Just
Yeah.
delete. Don't keep
just
them.
delete them.
Just
yeah.
delete. Yeah. So it was an interesting discussion the whole like football team had.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially for like a football team to have.
Right. It's all
you know?
men. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And discussing. And they did say it goes both ways type thing. In
Right.
fact, one of the characters is gay and he hasn't come out yet to the
Okay.
team, but he's come out yet to a couple other people. Well, he left the room to go delete his photos. And someone
Oh.
accused him of being insensitive and not following the rules that they had just made as a team. And then he saw his photos of what he was deleting, which were, of course, men.
Oh.
And so now he's nervous that he's going to tell the whole team. So this is where we are. It's all so tense. Okay, sorry. That is the current status of Ted Lasso and what I watched. And yes, I highly recommend Ted Lasso.
I think you like it just a little bit. Maybe. Oh my gosh. Okay, I watched one episode of Black Mirror and it was so weird because, and this is on Netflix, I just clicked on it and just started it because I know you had sent me an episode to watch and I was like, yeah, but I'll get there eventually because I'm interested in it. So I
Right.
wanted to watch it in general. And so I just started. Apparently, it started me at season 5. Normally, these things, like you go on Netflix, you start a new TV series, it starts you at the beginning, right? But it didn't. And I didn't realize that until I went to mark it on TV Time that I had watched it.
You're like,
And
"Where
I
is
was
it?"
like, wait, this isn't the episode that I watched. What? And so it started me at like season 5. And it was an episode, something Viper, about a video game and Anthony Mackie. I don't know, but I enjoyed it. I am excited to watch more. It was pretty long, but
Yeah.
I was like multitasking, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Have Bhasker, have you seen Black Mirror?
Yes, I've seen a few episodes. I love all the murder stuff and you know all of those types of shows, but Black Mirror is disturbing.
And that's kind of what I was
Yeah.
going to ask you, because I think it is very disturbing, especially considering where the potential of where technology can take us. And
Yeah.
right now we're in this whole chat GBT situation where people are getting very serious in discussing it and what AI is capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little too real, maybe, and it's a special kind of disturbing, you know.
Yeah. I hear that more like other episodes that I haven't watched yet are more disturbing than the one that I watched, because I feel like the one that I watched was pretty tame. It was like the VR thing, but in the span of Black Mirror in general, people are like, oh my god.
And the one I recommended, which is it's like San Pedro or something like that.
Yeah.
San Juan. It's about like a destination place, like on the beach.
Okay.
Is San Juan, maybe
San Pedro is a place.
Okay.
My
Well, I
dad
don't know if
flies
it's
there.
a real place in the show.
Oh, in the show. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
But it's very tame. In fact, the technology they show at the end, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, you're like, that would be so cool, but it would also be very bad.
Yeah.
So, so it's like all this, because it was a very lovely episode.
Right.
It's just at the end when you see what's going on, it's like,
Okay,
it's still not upsetting. It's just what do we want our technology doing?
Yeah.
Just like in Terminator, when it's like, what do we want our technology doing?
Yeah. Have you been watching anything else?
Yep.
Bhasker?
Me. Nothing that noteworthy. Okay, so these things I watch at night while my wife is trying to get the kids to go to sleep. Okay, so like 9:00, 9:30, like, come on, it's time to sleep, right? And so she was getting really upset with me because nothing I watch is kid appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And I got myself these Bluetooth headphones so I can have the headphones on. And
Smart.
load the dishwasher. I take 2 hours to do it. It can be done in 15 minutes. And so I'll watch all of this stuff. But then when the kids are awake, we have to watch stuff that's kid friendly. And my wife and I don't really have the same taste in shows. But there are a couple of shows that we can agree on. So she's a nurse practitioner. And she, even when she comes home, she can't get enough of all the medical type shows and stuff. So she used to watch Grey's Anatomy and all those shows, and I never liked any of them. But I do like New Amsterdam. So we have watched maybe every episode of New Amsterdam together. Have you guys seen that one?
No.
I saw a couple seasons of it, then I bowed out. It was even before we started the show. That Nina's
Really?
like, why didn't I know
I know.
that?
I'm like, I didn't see that on your TV time, Chris.
Nina has thoroughly snooped through my TV
I
time
have.
for a previous episode, so she could be prepared, and I totally forgot to prepare. So
Yeah, we used to every week on our show talk about Grey's Anatomy as it was airing, and it did not go well because it's gone on for so long, and we got to the point where we just would hate on it every week, and then when there was something good that would happen, we'd be like, okay, wait, there's actually one positive, and it would be like shocking that we could find a positive in it. It got quite ridiculous, actually. It was very I was hate watching Grey's Anatomy. It was really funny.
yes,
I enjoyed it. All right. Well, before we move on to our next topic,
Yes.
we're going to read a couple PSAs. So stay tuned to Streamingverse.
Yeah. Stay tuned. So we're going to go to the screen. And Bhaskar, you just get to hear us read PSAs for the next minute and a half.
Exciting.
You can go first.
Oh, okay. I'm going first. Join WHCM. I just hit the keyboard. I'm scared. Okay, it's fine. If you want to be a part of the actual coolest group of people, can confirm that is correct. You should join WHCM. Trust me, you won't regret it. No experience is needed, and we will teach you everything you need to know right here at the station. Also can confirm. You have the opportunity to compete in national broadcasting competitions, which we won, host a live radio show, or work behind the scenes, or even both, and laugh your head off in the most positive and encouraging environment. Can't wait to join any longer? Email us at whcmhawkradio@gmail.com.
And next week, we're going to have another drag show here at Harper College. The Harper College Pride Club presents Drag Show Thursday, May 11th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Building J Theater. It's a PG-13 show. Jackie Love, professional drag performer, will be performing along with student performances and light refreshments. It was a lot of fun last year. I highly recommend going. It was not many people went last year. Admission is $7. $4 of each ticket sold will be donated to the Rainbow Railroad Okay, that's just it, to the Rainbow Railroad. And you can find more information at rainbowrailroad.org/about. For more information, you can also call the Harper box office at 847-925-6100.
Woo woo.
Yes, and as always, keep it tuned to WHCM 88.3 FM. Always online at harperradio.com, and you can find our show on YouTube Live. Go to the Harper Radio channel, where we actually have 3 people here. We've got Nina and myself, and we have a guest, one of the professors here at Harper College.
Yeah, so make sure you join in and feel free to comment. Join in the conversation, ask questions, all that fun stuff. I know my mom is probably in there. She's been trying to think of a good question all day long. So you better not let us down, Mom. That's a lot of pressure. I'm sorry.
I'm seeing what she's been watching, though. Dance Moms and
Oh, my gosh.
The Mandalorian, which goes with...
Yeah, May the 4th be with you.
Yes, May
Happy
the 4th be
Star
with
Wars
you.
Day,
Yep.
everyone. Let me tell you something about Dance Moms. There's nothing more terrifying than a dance teacher watching Dance Moms. I am so scared. Her students are scared.
So if there's nothing more scary than a dancer watching Dance Mom...
No, dance teacher.
Dance teacher, yes.
Mm-hmm.
How does a teacher of, we'll just say, science...
Ooh!
feel about watching sci-fi shows? Do you enjoy them, or do you criticize them as you're watching them? That was free.
Okay. Yeah, I do enjoy them. I don't particularly go out like seeking sci-fi shows, but I do watch sci-fi along with everything else. I do enjoy them. I don't think I overanalyze them. You know, you do have to suspend certain amount of disbelief, right? In any kind of, when you're watching any kind of fiction, and in sci-fi, there's hard sci-fi, and I don't know what the opposite of hard sci-fi is. I don't call it soft sci-fi, but do you know what hard sci-fi is? Do you both know what's referred to as?
What does that mean?
Basically, it means that some of the underlying science is good. It's based on some, decent science, but you still have to violate some laws, to make the plot work, usually.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so, yeah, some of the real big astronomy-related sci-fi movies like Interstellar, Gravity, what was the one when Matt Damon went to Mars? The Martian. Those things, yeah, I enjoy it, and I'm sure you can find, and people do find flaws in them, but I don't sit there like nitpicking those things. But there have been others where like it was too much. Like I just couldn't watch it because it was just so ridiculous. And I have gotten in, arguments with students that really loved some of these movies, and I'll bash them in class. And 1 or 2 students have actually gotten upset that I was bashing like a movie they like so much. But yeah, so there's a spectrum. Movies that I can enjoy and let without nitpicking, and then movies that are just, the science is so bad that I can't do it. I just can't watch it. I can give you an example or two, but nothing to the George Clooney one was it on Netflix from last year?
George Clooney.
Oh, the one where like he was helping his grandchild type thing?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty ridiculous. I didn't care for that movie.
Okay, yeah, that one seemed, more, I mean, I like the single stage of it, but because you don't know the whole time, like, he's the grandfather of the kid he's helping.
Oh.
Because of some weird time thing.
That's so weird.
I don't remember it that
Some
much, which is also
thing?
another sign, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the science behind it just seems so bad that I just, it was
Gotcha.
distracting. But, other movies, are hilarious, right? Don't Look Up. Oh, my gosh. I love that movie. Have you guys seen that one?
Yes, that was so good.
And that was disturbing.
Yeah, it was very disturbing.
Yeah, that's great. But back in the day, like, I don't know if you've seen a movie called Sunshine. That movie was so bad. Like the science behind it. If you haven't seen it, it was a long time ago.
I forget
Yeah, no.
I've heard of it, but I don't know. I don't remember it.
I'll tell you the basic plot in 30 seconds. So the sun is fading away. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So these guys, a few people, guys and girls, scientists, engineers, get on a spacecraft, and their goal is to plunge into the sun, into the core of the sun, and restart nuclear fusion in the sun so the sun can come back.
All right. Xing that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good. I'm going to ask you about a movie that you may have never heard of, but I know some of my friends were very negative about the science on this. It's my favorite movie, and it's a cult favorite, so I'm just going to warn you. You may not like the science, but I love the movie. Be nice. It's called The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Knew that was coming.
Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't seen it. No, I need to, make a note of it.
It's about matter. So the theory is that in any solid matter, and they use a bunch of sciencey words, but there's actually space in there with the way atoms work. And so that within a structure of a mountain, people could actually be living within that space. And that's the dimension. So
It makes sense to me, but I don't know anything about.
So a lot of people were not happy with that movie.
Yeah, higher dimensions can be interesting. We could talk about that a little bit if you want.
Yes.
Yes, please.
No?
Yes, let's go. Let's talk about it. It's like I said, Buckaroo Banzai favorite movie. I can quote it, except for obviously the science parts. So any discussion on this would be welcomed.
So there was a movie that I saw with a bunch of when I was in grad school with other astronomy students, and they all hated it. I thought it was pretty cool, and it actually has a Harper graduate starring in it. So this from a long time ago. This was from the early 2000s. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? Have you heard of that movie?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, you should watch that. It's pretty out there, pretty interesting. But along with the movie, I think they made a bunch of maybe their outtakes or something, their additional scenes that didn't make it into the movie itself. And you can find this on YouTube, and I do show this in my class, my Stars and Galaxies class. It's called Dr. Quantum in Flatland. Okay, and the basic idea is Flatland is a place where the creatures only know about 2 dimensions. Okay, so they know about forward and backward, left and right, but they have no concept of up and down. Okay, and we're looking down on Flatland as 3-dimensional creatures, and then like this character, Dr. Quantum, talks to one of those Flatland creatures, and she's completely freaked out that this voice is talking to her. This voice, belongs to someone she can't see and stuff.
Right.
The reason I bring all of this up is two things. Number one, Dr. Quantum can look inside closed off worlds in Flatland. So in Flatland, there are only squares and rectangles and circles and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
The houses it would be nice if we can all see this, but we can't. It's okay. So the houses that people live in, they're like square shaped or rectangular shaped, etc. As opposed to being like 3-dimensional, as opposed to being like cubes, right?
Right.
They're just 2D, right? And so there's this creature who's a square, basically, or a circle or whatever, inside of a square. But Dr. Quantum, being above her, can see her, right? And the word above is forbidden. He says above and she freaks out because it's a forbidden word or whatever, okay? in their culture. Anyway, but we ourselves could be in that type of situation. It so happens we can only see 3 dimensions, but there's no reason the universe only has 3 dimensions. It could have higher dimensions. And if there are creatures that can see higher dimensions than that, they can literally look here and be looking inside our houses. Maybe they can be looking inside our bodies as well.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay.
Mind blown.
No,
that was
literally
just awesome. And I'm going to go check this out.
Yeah, absolutely going to check this out.
It's pretty amusing. It's a pretty fun little, video. Dr. Quantum in Flatland. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like easy learning.
Yeah. Kind of going off of that, do you, And this is such a generic question, but do you think that that is a possibility? Like, now I'm going into aliens and extraterrestrial life, but do you think that that is a possibility just based off of theories like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason that things should only be able to perceive 3 dimensions. We can both perceive 3, but there's no reason that there couldn't be aliens that could perceive more than 3 dimensions. Sure.
That's amazing and terrifying.
I'm so excited now that Buckaroo Banzai is real. Yes, I actually heard what you said, but that's what I'm going to say. That's go watch Dr. Coleman Flatland. I'm right. Buckaroo Banzai is awesome.
Oh my gosh. I do need to watch it.
So, have you ever seen, this is just a weird, fun question. Did you ever watch A Big Bang Theory?
I did. You know, I didn't watch it religiously. I do remember a few things here and there that I could actually relate to, you know. I remember one scene, I think a guy that's doing his PhD or something, one of the guys, and then his girlfriend, she's got a real job, you know, she's not a scientist. She's got like a job where she's got to use her hands and she's busy and she, you know, and stuff like that. And I know I just basically hated on all scientists just now, but anyway, so in the scene, basically she comes home and she describes her day and she's like, I did this, then I did this, then I did this, then I did this. And then she turns to him and says, what did you do today? And he goes, I thought about stuff. He goes, I wrote some of it down, and I could relate to that. In grad school, in physics, sometimes that's what you do. And if you're in math also in grad school, yeah, that's real.
That's true. You're just thinking.
The right thoughts don't come, but we do end up, you know, spending some time sitting around thinking about stuff.
I was just going to share that you watched it and you probably saw things that you laughed at and realized that you're only getting because you understand that specific topic that they're talking about. I just wanted to share, did you ever hear that they didn't understand half the jokes they were telling?
Oh, the actors?
Because they had because they're not science fiction type people or science people.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'll share something similar to that about the movie Gravity if you want.
Sure.
Have you both seen Gravity?
Yes. But I've seen. Have you
I
seen?
really enjoyed Gravity.
Which one is Gravity? Who stars in it? I know I've seen. I just don't remember which
Sandra
one.
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
No, I haven't
Oh,
seen
you
that
haven't
one.
seen that one? Okay.
Chris has though.
Oh,
Yeah, I
watch
have.
Gravity. Great movie.
Okay.
I mean, the entire movie takes place over a few hours. Okay, and it takes place in space. So just the visuals alone, right? It's just really, really well
You
done.
could play Minecraft at the same time.
Okay. Deal.
And so I'm sure the creators of Gravity are not listening to us right now or watching this. If they are, hey, I'm still gonna say it.
Okay.
It's a father and son team. I don't remember their names. Brilliant, you know, directors. They've made other great movies too. Maybe it was Alfonso Cuarón. Anyway, clearly don't understand Gravity. I saw them being interviewed, okay? And the interviewer was like, so is there gravity in space or is there no gravity in space? And this is one of the top misconceptions people have when it comes to astronomy, okay? Most of my students have this misconception. It's fine. You know, we all have various misconceptions. And it's because people keep telling us the wrong stuff, or they did when we were young, and we remember the wrong stuff, okay? So here's what happens. So interviewer asks, so there is gravity in space or there isn't gravity in space? And then the father is kind of confused. He's like, yeah, no, there isn't. And then the son jumps in. He's like, it's microgravity, right? I'm like, no, no, this is just so wrong. Like, there is gravity in space, almost as much gravity as there is here. Space doesn't have to be that far up. It's pretty close to here. Just a few miles up and you're in space. So Earth is pulling you just about as hard there as it is over here. That's not what weightlessness is about at all. Weightlessness is just falling. Anytime you're falling, like if you're falling off a plane or whatever, even jumping off a diving board, you're weightless. So being weightless is completely unrelated to there being no gravity. So that's one of these things. And yeah, that was a long response to a very simple question you asked me. But yeah.
We liked it. Trust
That
me,
was-
we're both amazed.
Yeah, my eyes are very wide right now. I feel like I'm learning more than I have all semester. Oops, probably shouldn't have said that.
Especially not on the air.
Good
So
job, Nina.
do we want another reading break real quick?
Yes, we should take a quick break for PSAs, and we will be right back to this conversation because I am learning so much. And I was kidding, by the way, when I said that I've learned so much this semester. Okay, PSAs.
You are listening to the award-winning WHCM 88.3 FM, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. Nina, what's happening in PSA land today? Just flip the page.
Yeah,
There should be a bunch in there. None of them? Okay, so you want to keep it tuned to WHCM. Why? Because we have a lot of great shows. Mondays started off with Carson Starr at 6 a.m. And then keep it tuned for the rest of the day. Tuesday, same thing. I can't remember the schedule and I don't see it.
I think you're skipping something on Mondays, Chris.
What am I skipping on Mondays?
Aren't you on Mondays?
Yeah, so Planet 10 Radio is on 7 a.m. on Mondays. I don't put as much prep work into it as I do this show. In fact, one whole show, this is why you'll like my show. It's Monday morning, you're driving into work, 7 a.m., and I just I'm kind of low-key on Monday mornings. And Matt, our program director, loaded a bunch of songs. He's been, doing a great job here at the station. But he has put a new category in our radio DJ software. It's called Dad Rock. So I did my whole show playing Dad Rock.
Dad Rock? That's amazing.
But it's not what I thought was Dad Rock.
Yeah,
It's what Matt thought was Dad Rock.
Oh my God.
Apparently, Jay Giles Centerfold is Dad Rock. A couple of hard metal bands, Dad Rock. Stuff in the 80s, Dad Rock. It's just kind of funny.
Oh, Matt.
I think there's a Boston Turner Overdrive song in there. Probably Bruce Springsteen, but I wouldn't play that one. All
I
right.
would consider that.
So keep it tuned to WHCM. We have a lot of great shows.
Yes, thank you.
And we're back.
Whoa! Welcome back.
I'm taking a swig first, though, so I'm not talking.
I got you. To Streaming Verse with Chris and Nina and our very special guest today, a professor here at Harper College, Dr. Bhasker, and we are talking about all things science, sci-fi. Oh my God, Chris almost just fell over. It's fine. And movies. I'm just like, I don't even know if I can articulate words right now. So I have a question for you, and feel free to laugh at me. I can take it. How do you feel about the Marvel movies?
Ooh, sorry. I haven't seen most of the Marvel movies. Wrong guy.
How do you feel about the multiverse?
Yeah, I can explain it to
Yeah.
you. Do you want me to explain a little bit of kind of what's happening?
With multiverse in Marvel?
Yes.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so I understand it to a limit, so forgive me when I like cut off and don't know what I'm saying anymore. Basically, there's like a bunch of different Earths that take place, and it kind of they use quantum theory so much that literally one of the new movies is called Ant-Man Quantumania, and they're stuck in this quantum realm, and then it really draws a lot to the idea of quantum suicide, kind of like the flip of the coin. Like every decision you make can change the entire trajectory. Oh my God, that's a hard word. Of your entire life. So that's kind of, there's like multiple versions of everyone on like thousands of different Earths. That's kind of where Marvel's at, and they are actually to the point in the Loki series, which is on Disney Plus, that they are predicting this kind of time war where basically the different timelines, so the same people are going to be fighting against each other for like the superior timeline. Which, do you think, I don't even know how to word this. Do you think that the multiverse theory in general is plausible?
Yeah. So this is not completely unrelated to the whole 2D, 3D, higher dimensions thing. So if you take our universe, we know it's expanding. The reason we know it's expanding is that distant galaxies are all moving away from us. Okay, so we've known this for about 100 years. When we look out into space, we see galaxies at different distances, and the further away a galaxy is from us, the faster it's moving away. That means the universe is expanding. Wow. That means that it used to, things used to be closer together. And so the universe, we think, began based on just the speed of the expansion, how fast galaxies are moving away. We can calculate how long they've been moving apart, and we get an age of 13.8 billion years. So the universe is 13.8 billion years old. So it had a beginning. So it was born at one time. It's not infinitely old.
Right.
Okay. So far, so good. Straight, it's easy enough.
Yeah.
Okay. We visualize something with the beginning and expansion. Here's where things get complicated. Every part of the universe looks like every other part of the universe. Okay. So when we look out, we count the same number of galaxies in every direction, and in every part of space, in every big volume of space. So that tells us the universe has no center and no edges. Okay. All right. And it's almost certainly the case that what we can see, the observable universe, is not the entire universe. Okay. So, because no part of the observable universe appears to look any more special than any other part of the universe. So it looks like the universe has no center and no edges. Okay. So how is this related to the whole 2D, 3D thing? Well, it's like being on the surface of the Earth. Okay. Imagine you're a 2D creature on the surface of the Earth. You wouldn't know, okay, because you're 2D, you would think the Earth has to end at some point, right? Because you don't have the concept of being round.
Right.
You would imagine you just keep on walking, at some point you'd fall off the edge of the Earth, right? But those of us that can look at the Earth from the outside, we can sympathize with these creatures and be like, no, there's no edge on the surface of the Earth because it's 3D, it wraps around itself. So likewise, every part of the universe looks like every other part of the universe within 3D. Maybe we're actually expanding into a higher dimension. That's one way to think about it.
Oh, wow.
That's one way to think about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we need higher dimensions. We can just say, look, the entire universe is much, much larger than the observable universe. So we're only seeing a small portion of the universe. Okay? What defines the observable universe? Well, the most distant object we can see is the object that light has had time to get to us from. Because light is the fastest thing in the universe. So light that's been traveling for 13.8 billion years can get to us. Okay? Any light that's been traveling that's would need to travel further, for longer than that to get to us, we're not going to see. So we're not going to see the entire universe. We're only going to see the universe that's close enough to us for light to have gotten to us from. Okay? So I can give you like a simple analogy if you want. Imagine like there's a race or something, right? So people are running a marathon, some people finish in just over a couple of hours, some people finish in 4 hours, etc. Let's say you just show up and you're watching the people like coming past you at the finish line, right? You're only going to see the people that, you're only going to see a certain number of people. You have to wait longer to see more people come to the finish line. Likewise, we have to wait longer to see more distant light get to us. Light just hasn't had time to get to us from the most distant objects yet. Kind of like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that could mean the universe is infinite. We don't know it's infinite, but it could mean it's infinitely large.
I feel really small right now.
It's not infinitely old, but it could be infinitely large. And once you get into infinity, pretty much there's, basically it means anything that can happen will happen. That's how infinity is. So that actually means not only is there a parallel Earth, where the properties could be different, perhaps like in some of these sci-fi movies.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a parallel Earth where there should be someone exactly like you also. So you should have a twin on another Earth because the universe is infinite. So anything that can happen will happen.
So what you're saying is that in another universe, I have hugged Taylor Swift.
That's what she heard.
We didn't even get into multiverse yet. I mean, even in this universe, because the universe is infinite. And then there's the possibility that while this universe was being made, other universes were being made too. Or maybe, right? So the observable universe, maybe the actual universe is slightly bigger than that, only slightly though, or maybe 10 times as big. It's not infinitely large. But the process that made our universe also made other universes at the same time. So there's it's a multiverse, not a universe.
So the answer is yes. In another.
The answer is yes.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
That's really all I care about.
You could be Taylor Swift.
What?
You could be Taylor Swift.
No, I don't really want to be Taylor Swift. I just want to hug her and let her know how much I love her.
So speaking of,
be famous myself, I think it's I like the privacy. It's nice to have privacy.
Yeah.
have you seen Another Earth on Netflix?
No.
Okay. It was interesting. I actually, and I don't know if this would be up your alley, but I like the other thing. The actress's name who did it is Britt Marling. She did Another Earth, and she also does the OA that's on Netflix, and I really like the OA. So I just was interested in seeing Another Earth. But it is interesting. She's a high school graduate who's going to go to a great school, but then she ends up going to a party and killing somebody driving home.
Oh.
So while then she goes into a life of hourly wages and more manual labor, something happens where she gets to see the other Earth and what would have happened if she wouldn't have done that.
That's so
and
interesting.
the path of her life, and of course then it goes on and there's drama. But yeah, that's the premise of that exactly.
Cool. That somehow reminded me of Russian Doll. I don't know if you.
Yes.
Oh,
We
yes.
love Russian Doll here.
I liked the first season a lot. Somehow the second season, I just stopped watching. It was, I don't know. Maybe they lost me or something.
The first season was really good, and it's hard when it's something's that original
Yes.
to do a second season.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about that with Reacher on Amazon Prime. Because the first season, I think, was really good, although I've seen it 80 million times because it's my background thing when I can't sleep, because it's nice with just a little jazz music and talking, that I can see the flaws in it now, where things like, oh, that wasn't great. Oh, that's why they didn't get nominated for awards. I've seen it so many times. But it's like, are they going to be able to match the chemistry, because it's going to be a different cast because he traveled. Have you seen Reacher? No, it's based on Lee Child's books, and he's ex-military. He's from a military background, and he just travels. He just picks up his, I don't know what it's called, pension check from like the nearest Western Union, and he just travels all the time. So it's an interesting show, but it means that the second season will have a different cast because he travels. So I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
There's no science fiction in it, though. There's no science, other than maybe the science of like fighting and martial arts.
It's interesting. That is a science. I don't know why I'm whispering. What was that?
It's science. This. Do you have any other questions? This has been a fun show. I'm so glad.
I know. Thank you so much for joining us.
This is kind of a question, but send-off question.
Yeah.
Is there any suggestions you would have on anything we could watch other than the Dr. Quantum and Flatland?
I thought Interstellar was a great movie. Interstellar, the science in it is fantastic. Well, at the end, it gets really crazy. There is some pure sci-fi in it too. But the science that it's based on is great, and it was written by a physicist. So Kip Thorne, who was friends with Stephen Hawking, they were the top two experts on black holes in the world. And Stephen Hawking's dead now. Kip Thorne wrote the screenplay, and then Christopher Nolan picked it up and made the movie. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. It's not a brand new movie, but
Right.
as far as astronomy is concerned, yeah, I thought it was a great one. And there's a lot of great sci-fi like short stories. So Dr. Pearl Ratunil and I, years ago, she's in English, she and I had taught a course on astronomy and sci-fi. There are a lot of great short stories that on black holes and things like that. If you want a challenging one, I'll just give you one real quick. It's called The Crystal Spheres. It's by David Brin. So it's a short story having to do with black holes, and it's quite deep and quite profound. And oh yeah, if you can handle a full-length novel, Carl Sagan's Contact is just absolutely phenomenal.
I have it. I haven't read it yet, though. I love the movie Contact. Have you seen the movie?
I've seen the movie.
How would you compare them?
Well, the thing is, yeah, he was involved in the making of the movie too.
Okay.
But how, like lots of books, there's too much in there to be turned into a movie. If you make it into a whole Netflix series with like 6 seasons or 10 seasons, you can do it, but you can't do it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the basic plot of the book had to completely change for the movie. So I like the movie, but it's not the same story at all. The story itself is completely different because it had to be. It was impossible to fit all of that into one movie.
All right, cool. I have something I should start reading
I
now.
know. Oh my gosh, I have so
It's
much to
challenging,
read.
Very challenging, but it's phenomenal too. It's really,
Okay.
really good.
Yeah, I can read slow. I already have to start slowly anyway.
Yeah, getting back into it.
Well, yeah, because I have some dyslexic type issues where I have to get used to the cadence of the writer.
Oh, I understand.
And
Yeah,
it takes
yeah.
me 50 to 100 pages sometimes to I really can struggle for weeks to get used to their cadence, and once I get used to the cadence of how they write, then I can plow through it.
Got it.
But I have to learn it.
We give props to like our English professors, because when I co-taught that course, I realized how much I was missing in every single story and every page of every novel. Like I'd read stuff and I'd realize this is an astronomer, right, that wrote this, and I know the science in it, but I realized how much I'd been missing and pointed out to me by the English professor. So
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It's the same. This is different, not as intellectual, but when it comes to like, we have shows that we like from other countries, and we know we're not getting as much, even if it's in England, because there's regional things happening there that we're not necessarily picking up on.
Yeah.
right. Oh, speaking of that, Money Heist, great show.
Oh, I've heard a lot about that.
Spanish. So speaking of shows in other languages.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I have heard that is very good.
It's not the best name. I think in Spanish it's El Casa de Papel, or La Casa de Papel, which makes more sense. House of Paper. But in English they translated it into Money Heist, which is a terrible name for a show.
I actually would have preferred House of Paper, because that
Yeah.
actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
So
All right. I am just.
we're getting ready to wrap up the show, but there's some technology challenges as always when we play with
Yes.
Zoom. Although I must say I really liked our Zoom setup today. I think we did good.
Yes. This is great. Okay.
We're in a new
Thanks for
studio
having
here,
me.
and
It was lovely. Yeah, it was great talking to both of you.
yeah, no, we
Yes.
really appreciate you being on the show. And do you want to share any information about your classes or the department to any prospective or current Harper College students?
We don't need to pitch our courses too much. Astronomy is always popular. They always fill up right away.
Nice.
The only thing I can say about astronomy is if you want to take one, sign up for it as soon as you can, because it's going to fill up quickly. But we do have an observatory. It's free. It's open to the public, so you can do a search for Harper College Observatory, and you'll find the dates. It is going to be open May 12th, so Friday.
Next Friday.
The next Friday. And we haven't figured out the summer dates yet because it needs to be painted and stuff, but we will post those soon. But those events are always open to everyone. There's going to be a solar eclipse coming up later this year. We'll probably have an event for that. And for the big solar eclipse next year, April 2024, That'll be a huge event. But yeah, there's always something going on.
Awesome.
In our department.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of nearing finals week to join us here on Streamingverse. We really appreciate it. I have learned so much, and I'm very excited to look into everything and learn more about it.
You've answered a lot of our questions, and we truly appreciate it. And if you ever want to come back on the show and talk movies, science, Harper, let us know.
All right. Thank you. We'll keep doing what you're doing. Great job. And thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks so
you.
much.
All right. For those of you listening at home, thank you for tuning into Streamingverse, and have a good dinner.